You are nothing without your routine. Okay. Let me explain that. It sounds kind of obvious, or maybe it's not obvious, or maybe it's too simple. Sometimes the simplest things are the things that will get you the furthest, and people just don't pay attention to it because it's too simple. They're like, oh, that can't work. It's too simple. It's like, yeah, the devil's in the detail, right? So the reason that I kind of want to talk about this today is because I uh I was this weekend I had a couple of drinks, right? So it was all planned out, it was all good. I don't even drink that often, maybe like once every couple months or something. I had like three or four mixed drinks, right? Um but what happened was when I drank, I just kind of wanted to relax, but when I drank, I messed up my sleep cycles, right? And that's what alcohol does. That's one reason that alcohol is not always the best thing for you. Not because it's obviously not great for your health, but like because it just throws everything off, like literally everything off. Throws your hormones off. It lowers your testosterone levels for a few days afterwards. Like it's just honestly, if you can restrain from alcohol, if it's not that big of a deal for you, like just don't do it at all. I used to drink a lot, former military, so I'm sure that doesn't surprise you guys. As I got older, I'm just like, this isn't really worth it to me for the most part. Like the hangovers the next day, and especially when it comes to physique and fitness goals, like alcohol just doesn't have a big part in that at all. Lucas knows what I'm talking about since he's on here. He was drinking like a six pack a night, and now that guy's like hardly ever drinks. So super proud of him for that. Also smoking a lot, doesn't smoke at all either. So that guy's man, he's turned his whole life around. That's so proud of him. But anyways, back to me drinking. I had a few drinks. I didn't do anything crazy. Um, but it messed up my sleep cycle so much that like I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, right? Sunday morning I was up at like 2:30 in the morning. I could not go back to sleep. And I realized it was probably because I had drank it with some calorie free. What's up, Catherine? How we doing? She used to drink 3 bottles of wine each night. Holy shit, girl! Hey, well, thanks for admitting that. I'm sure you're not the only one in this group that drinks wine every night. 3 bottles, that's a lot. So, anyways, yeah, man. So, yeah, if you're drinking that much, yeah, take a week off and see what it does for your body. Anyways, yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was, well, it's gonna mess up my sleep cycles anyway, but like it also was like something where I think the pop I was drinking it with, I just drank calorie free Pepsi. I think it had caffeine in it, and I didn't think about that until after I had that really bad night of sleep. Um, so like, so that's another thing. I'm very like regimented on my caffeine intake. Like I like caffeine just like the next person, but I will not drink any caffeine after 2 o'clock because caffeine has a half life. So in the medical terms, call it like a half life. Somebody else might know a better term for than me, which basically just means that like it still has half of the same amount of potency after like so many hours. So it has like a half life of like 8 hours or something like that. Maybe it's just 4 hours. But anyways, I just know like 8 hours before I go to bed is when I need to cut off my caffeine. So 2 o'clock because I'm usually in bed by 9:30, 10, right? I suggest you guys all do that too and see if it helps your sleep. Um, because caffeine will throw your sleep cycles off as well too. So, anyways, so yeah, that threw me off really, really bad, guys. Like, so I'm up at 2:30, can't go back to sleep. I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna wake up. Kind of got some work done, but I was just dragging all day. Luckily, it was one of my rest days, so it wasn't like I had to go do a bunch of physical exertion. I basically just chilled all day. I still got all my steps in, like no excuses there. I'm still getting my steps in. My activities staying the same every single day, every week. But now, like even today, I'm still feeling like the lack of sleep I got, okay? Because my body's used to X amount of hours per day. Then when I lose a whole 5 hours, like even if I go to bed early the next day, I'm still missing out on sleep. And I can tell, like I'm so regulated that I can tell that even today, I'm just not 100%, right? Tomorrow I'll probably be 100%, but like for me, that wasn't worth it. Like those couple of drinks, even though it was nice in the moment, threw off my routine so bad that now my Monday feels like a really bad Monday. And I actually usually like Mondays, believe it or not. I think it's the best day of the week because you get to start over and you get to focus on crushing your next week. But basically, that's why you're nothing without your routines, guys. Because if you don't practice your routines, or if, let's say your routine's like a Monday through Friday routine, like that's not gonna work. That's not gonna cut it. You got to have that routine every single day, okay? And it's okay to like mess it up and not be perfect. Like it happens all the time. But the more regimented you are, the more you're gonna see that when you get out of that regiment, like how much it affects your day to day. So if you're one of those people right now that you're feeling like, man, I can't keep up, and I'll be 100% honest with you guys, and this isn't to make anybody feel bad in this group, but those of you in the group that are not getting to where you want to be are literally the people that don't have a routine or like just are really bad with their routine. Like one week they're really on top of it, and then next week they're just all over the place. One day they're really on top of it, the next day they're all over the place. Like you can't do that if you want to be successful. Like it doesn't work like that. You can't shoot in the dark and expect to hit bullseyes. Like that's not how the world works. And that's why I'm it's so imperative that you guys actually get your morning routine down, get your evening routine down, figure out your day ahead of time, like be organized, guys. And this is coming from like a super unorganized guy. Like ask my wife, ask, my old manager, anybody that's ever worked for me, like I'm not Mr. Organized at all. But like I know how much of an impact that has on my life, my business, my family, like everything to where I'm gonna go, okay, this is what I want out of my life. So I'm gonna do the work and make the sacrifices needed to be able to do that. And that requires me to be organized even when I don't want to be organized, okay? So you guys really have to think about that because and again, I'm gonna tell you this again, like those of you that are not doing as good as you want here, look at your routines. I guarantee every single person that is crushing it in this group has very good routines, very good daily habits, has a lot of forethought in their weeks and their days. Okay. Like it's not a secret, guys. If you're showing up and you're all over the place, like one day you hit the workout, the next day you don't hit it, one day you hit all your macros, the next day you don't, like that's it. That's why you're not where you want to be. And if you're one of those people that are on top of it, which honestly I feel like most of you are, there's like maybe a 10% in here that isn't, um, then you guys are good to go. And you understand that. And you understand thinking about what you're doing ahead of time. Okay. It's like kind of a rant right here, but like you like tell all your kids this stuff, right? Like there's so much stuff that we tell our kids, like, but then we don't follow it ourselves. Like, what kind of leadership is that? We're gonna go more into leadership on the next call too, guys, but because you got, even though you might not think you're a leader, you're leading people every single day, whether it's your kids, whether it's coworkers, whether, I mean, if you're a management, like, and and when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you're gonna live up to that standard, and the people underneath you are gonna live up to that standard too. Okay, and that doesn't mean you got to be perfect, but when you don't hold yourself to that standard, nobody else underneath you is going to either. Okay, and I mean that's just bad leadership. So. Anyways, you're nothing without your daily routines, your weekly routines, your nightly routines. When it gets thrown off, you're going to know it if you have it dialed in. If you don't have it dialed in, you're just going to be like, oh, it's another day, right? And that's why you're in the position that you're in, okay? Most people don't need a meal plan. Most people don't need the next cool fitness exercise, whatever. They need to get their life in order as far as being routine. Okay, I always told all my employees and everything, I'm like, let me look at the inside of your car, right? And I'll tell you how successful you'll be. You're like, the inside of your car, what does that have to do with success? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if I go in your car and it's all fucking trash all over the place and just nasty, like that shows me like I expect that from like a high school kid, but I don't expect that from like an adult, right? So, but like that is the same thing that's going to lead you. It's the same thing in your life. Like the inside of your car is dirty, that inside of your house is probably dirty. If the inside of your house is probably dirty, the things that going through your mind are probably dirty, not dirty, but it sounds bad. Probably not right, right? If the things inside of your mind aren't right, the things that are going in your body aren't right, right? Does this make sense? Give me a thumbs up if this makes sense. Comment below if you watch this live or replay, guys.